Hi Advocates, it's Julienne Edwards here, your Grassroots Advocacy Manager. With me is Molly McDonald, our Policy Consultant here at Winning Strategies Washington, and today we are going to talk to you about phone calls. So Call Your Congressman has been a common anthem these days, and when folks are fired up about an issue, sometimes they don't necessarily want to send an email. They want to talk to a real person and share their story. So on the back end of that, if I'm calling into my congressman's office and somebody picks up the phone, who am I talking to?
Yeah, great question. So the person that you're most likely going to be speaking to is an intern. So they are trained to take down your information, where you're from, where you live, what your phone number is, to listen and, again, take notes on the issue that you want to discuss. So as much as you want to share with that person about your story or what you are concerned or interested in, and then the legislation or other ask that you're calling about. So they will compile that into a file, and it will be added to sort of your profile, for lack of a better word, in the office. So it's another sort of tally, in support of our issues.
Okay, and also we talked about tallies in the last video that we did about action alerts, which I will link in this the description of this video. But that tally not only builds your personal relationship, but builds your file within the office, but also builds the file for that issue. Sort of, this many people have called this week, this many people have called over the last 6 months, etc., about colorectal cancer. And so if I want to share my story with a staffer and contribute to that tally, that's great. I think that's, I think everybody should take the time to do that. But if I want to kick it up a notch and say, I really want to talk to somebody who knows the congressman's position or the senator's position on this policy, and I really want to open up a dialogue, how do I get there?
Yeah, so I think the best way is to ask, and that could be asking what the congressman's position is on what you're calling on. So a lot of times an intern's just not going to know that. So that's an opportunity for them to kick it to someone more senior than them and someone who has that expertise. And also not to be afraid to ask for the Health LA directly. Again, no offense to the interns, and I think that we can do it, in a polite and respectful way. But just, to say that you'd like to speak with the legislative assistant so you can have kind of a more in-depth conversation.
So speaking of politeness, usually folks who call in rather than email or take the time to write a letter, they're a little more fired up. And a lot of these issues, especially ones like colorectal cancer, very personal, totally understandable. You've been at Health LA, you've spoken to people, with these kinds of issues. What is the most effective way to share something that you're passionate about, but be constructive?
Yeah, I think as with anything, the best way to build a relationship is to be polite and respectful. We can certainly disagree. We can express our disagreement, our disappointment. But if we want to build a relationship with that office, we have to do it in a way that is not degrading or demeaning or any of those things. So I think if you are firm but also polite, it only helps to endear that staffer to you and to make them want to think of ways that they can work with you, even if it's outside of what you're asking them to do.
Okay, great. Well, I think we've got a lot of good tips. Ask questions, ask for more senior staff, be polite, be respectful and firm, and you can really open up the dialogue, build that relationship, and also, phone calls are personal. They're, they're a lot. It's a lot harder to sort of keep the legislative ask and the theoretical when you're talking to a person on the phone who's been impacted by a policy. So next we're going to cover, in the next video, we'll be covering in-person meetings. So stay tuned, and again, thanks for watching.